Alrighty, hey, what's up, guys? It's the Daily Gamer here, and today I'll be teaching you how to play poker. Now, I realize that this is not, say, something on your device, but this is really cool. It's based off Hoyle's Rules of Games, this book indicated right here. I'm just going to go through it somewhat quickly just so the tutorial doesn't take forever, but otherwise, though, let's get into it. Alright, so, so we'll open it up. So poker, it's a gambling game. So you have to. So you realize that. So it says players 2 to 10, best for 5 to 8. More than 8 can play. Okay, so there's different types of poker that we'll get into later in the video. Each player plays for himself. Cards, regular pack of 52, right here. You can add the jokers if you want to. You don't have to, but you can if you want to. So the cards rank from ace all the way down to 2. It says the ace ranks low in the sequence 5, 4, 3, 2 ace, which we'll get into later. The joker, it says, usually uses a wild card. So the deal is, it says in every form of poker, the cards are dealt one at a time in clockwise rotation, beginning with the player at the dealer's left. Usually each player receives 5 cards, but in various forms of the game, more cards are dealt, and some are often dealt face up and some face down. These will be described under the separate forms of poker. So it says here, the dealer, which we'll get into. The dealer is determined when one player takes a pack of cards and deals it around face up until a jack falls to one player, who becomes the first dealer. Therefore, the dealer rotates from player to player. To the left, the play. So basically what happens is, it says here, poker is a game of betting as to which player holds the best hand. All bets are made by all players go in a pile of chips called the pot, which is in the center of a table. I'll get into that later. The object of the game is to win the pot. The pot may be won either 2 ways. A, after all players have had full opportunity to bet, there is a showdown in which the hands are shown and the best hand wins. It comes down to the 2 greatest bets. Or, if a player makes a bet and another player is willing to meet, that player wins the pot without showing his hand. For no one may compete for a pot unless he is willing to meet the highest bet made by any other player. This introduces the factor of bluffing, betting on a weak hand in the hope that all players will drop out. So that's how you play. That's how you play. So let's get into different combinations of the rank of poker hands. So, all right. So starting out, rank of poker hands. So I have here what's called a straight flush. So straight flush is the highest ranking play, if you will. So the 5 cards in sequence by the same suit. As between 2 straight flushes, the one headed by the highest ranking card wins. So this is pretty much one of your more basic flushes, straight flushes, just because of the fact that it starts out with a 7 and ends with a 3. But yeah, I would say it's very uncommon to get this. So there you go. So there shouldn't be too much competition in that. The one-headed, so as between 2 straight flushes, it says here, the one headed by the highest ranking card wins. So if it goes ace, queen, ace, king, queen, jack, 10, that's a royal flush. That beats king, queen, jack, 10, 9. And then also it says here, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2 beats 5, 4, 3, 2, ace. So this is a very low flush, but it's still that. So anyway, that's your straight flush. It says here, the royal flush is the highest standard hand, but when wild cards are used, 5 of a kind is the highest. So 4 of a kind is when you have all 4 cards the same suit. That is what's next. So I'll show that here in a minute. 5 of a kind is when, if you're using wilds and you're using like a 7-card play, 7-card draw, then you can go ahead and then you might be able to get 5 cards. It's very rare, but it could happen. Alright, so here we go. 4 of a kind. This is the second rank of poker hands. Any 4 cards of the same rank. As between 2 such hands, the 4 higher cards win. 4 of a kind beats a full house or any lower hand. So we'll get into the full house later. Anyway, so this is 4 of a kind. 1, 2, 3, 4. They're not all the same suit, but they are the same kind. They're all kings. So this collection here is going to be one that's more likely to win because it's higher. The only thing that can really beat it is an ace. Now, into the 5 of a kind, which will beat straight flush if you're playing with wilds. With a wild, you can set any card to be the wild. You just have to say it before you look at your cards. after dealing them out. You have to choose your wild before you deal. So let's say you choose your wild with 8, so you get this. That's 5 of a kind, because it's 5 of a kind, but this is a wild, so it looks like a king, even though it's not a king. Alrighty, so the next one is called a full house. So we have 3 kings here and a pair. This is the third. This is behind straight flush and 4 of a kind. So it says here, as between 2 full houses, the one who wins, whose 3 of a kind are composed of the higher ranking cards. A full house beats a flush or any lower hand. So that's a full house. Pretty simple to make, but still really high ranking. Alright, so underneath a full house is a flush. This is a flush. It's all collection of the same suit, all 5 cards of the same suit, but you have to realize though they're not in order. So that's underneath, so it goes straight flush, 4 of a kind, full house, a flush. Because this is just a collection of all these cards that are the same suit, but not the same number. As between 2 flushes, the one containing the highest ranking card wins. If these 2 cards tie, the next highest ranking card decides. If these 2 cards tie, the third highest ranking card, and so on down to the last card, so that ace, queen, 10, 9, 3 beats ace, queen, 10, 3, 2. A flush beats a straight or any lower hand. So now you have to realize it's kind of confusing, but basically what they're trying to say here is that if you just compare all the cards in the flush, you can put them up higher to lower, and whatever has the highest cards will win the flush. So underneath a flush is what's called a straight. A straight is any 5 cards in sequence, but not all the same suit. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. These are not all the same suit as demonstrated. This is number 5. As between 2 straights, the one with the highest ranking card at the head of a sequence is the winner. The highest possible being ace, queen, king, jack, 10. Most possible straight being 5, 4, 3, 2, ace. Ace straight, it says ace straight beats the 3 of a kind or any lower. So the next one up will be 3 of a kind. Alright, so the next one, number 6, is 3 of a kind, such as 3 6s with 2 unmatched cards. If two players hold 3 of a kind, the higher ranking 3 of a kind wins. This hand beats 2 pairs or anything lower. So I have 3 of a kind right here. As you can see, it is all the same number, but it is not the same suit. That's number 6. Number 7 is 2 pairs. 2 pairs, 2 cards of any one rank, and 2 cards of any other rank with an unmatched card. As between 2 such hands, the one containing the highest ranking pair is the winner. If these pairs are the same, the hand with the higher of the 2 other pairs is the winner. If the 2 hands contain identical 2 pairs, then the higher ranking unmatched card determines the winner. 2 pairs beat any hand with only 1 or with no pair. Basically, I think that's kind of confusing, but I think what it's trying to get at is that if you're going up against, let's say, if this is up against, I don't know, 2 7s and 2 3s, then I think this one would probably lose, because if it was like a 7 of spades and a 7 of, I don't know. But anyway, so that's 2 pairs. 2 pairs is pretty straightforward. Again, 2 pairs, just remember that the suits in order go from highest to lowest are ace, hearts, diamonds, clubs. I think it might be ace, diamonds, hearts, clubs. So if you have this, but you're going up against somebody who has higher suits, but the same numbers, then the higher suits will win with 2 pairs. Again, sometimes it all varies on what you draw. If you draw, there just might be some times where you just have nothing, where you just have 1 of a kind. That's the worst it can be, and you'll always get beat. But sometimes you might just have that. So now we'll go on to 1 pair. Alright, so here we have 1 pair, so any 2 cards of the same rank. A pair is dealt to a player about twice in every 5 hands he holds. Just a little fact. As between 2 hands that have 1 pair each, the pair composed of the higher ranking cards wins. So this pair would not do very well just because it's both 3s and it's really low. So it probably wouldn't win unless 3s are wild. But there you go. If both hands have the same pair, the highest of the 3 unmatched cards determines the winner. If they are the same, the next highest. And if they are the same, the higher as between the 3rd unmatched cards and the 2 hands. A hand with only 1 pair beats any hand which contains no pair, so in other words, just like one of a kind, and no one of the combinations described in the preceding paragraphs. So this is number 8. So we're getting really low on the list. Finally, I think we have high card. About 1 out of 2 hands that a poker player holds will consist merely of 5 unmatched cards. Little fact. As between 2 hands of this nature, rank is decided by the rank of the highest card and is necessary by the next highest, and so on, as described in paragraph 4. So that's what it says. So basically, if this is your highest card and that's all you have, that's what you have to. That's what you play, and you can bet on that. You can bluff, but I would not recommend that. That's just me. And there you go. This is last ranking. You'll probably never win, but anyway. It says here that this is my stuff file. It says optional hand. A 4 flush is a hand with any 4 cards of the same suit. In stud poker, it is occasionally ruled that a 4 flush beats a pair, though it loses to 2 pairs. In draw poker, it is often ruled that a player may open on a 4 flush, but if he does not improve it, it is simply ranked as a hand with no pair. When I play poker, I don't know really. I guess I don't know about that. You guess you can kind of know that really. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, so it says here, wild cards. Again, this is what I was saying about wild cards. A joker added to a pack or any rank or group of cards, usually 2s, may be designated in advance to be wild. The holder of the wild card may cause it to stand for any other card he wishes, except by a special house rules. A, wild card ranks exactly the same as the natural card it replaces, and B, a wild card cannot stand for a card the player already holds, so that there cannot be, for example, a double ace high flush. So that's a mouthful. I guess you kind of break that down. The bug is the joker given restricted wild card use. So this is a joker. The joker may represent an ace, and it may be used to fill a straight flush or straight. Therefore, 2 aces in the bug, the joker, are 3 aces, but 2 kings in the bug are merely a pair of kings with an ace. Interesting. When wild cards are used, 5 of a kind are the highest ranking hand. Ties become possible between identical 4s of a kind, full houses, or 3s of a kind. In such cases, the rank of other cards in the hand determines the winner. So, there you go. Rotation. In poker, the turn to do everything passes from player to player to the left. So each player will choose a game, which we'll get into shortly. The cards are dealt in this way. The turn to bet goes from player to player in rotation. No player should do anything until the player on his right has acted. So whether or not they want to bet, they want to fold, which means you just put your cards on the table and give up for that round, then you can go. So it says here, I skipped this, but it says high-low poker. Almost any form of poker may be played high-low. There is no difference in the original deal in betting, but in the showdown, the highest-ranking poker hand and the lowest-ranking poker hand divide the pot equally. If it cannot be divided equally, the high hand receives any odd chip that is left over. Players must decide in advance whether the ace will rank only high or either high or low at each player's option. I don't use that really, so you can break that down as you must, but that's how it is. Alright, so now we're going to get into the gameplay, I think. So rules of betting. Betting is done during periods of the game called betting intervals. The number of betting intervals depends on what form the game is being played. For example, in draw poker, the first betting interval occurs when each player has been dealt his full 5 cards. And in stud poker, it occurs when each player has been dealt 2 cards. In each betting interval, some player has the first right or duty to bet. Usually there is some minimum and some maximum amount agreed upon in advance that he may bet. When I play poker, we just do unlimited betting because, we just play for fun. So the proper way is for him to place the pot, the number of chips he bets, at the same time announce the number of chips he is betting. When the designated player has the bet, each player in turn after him must do one of the following things. All right, so this is where you get to the betting. Drop out of the pot, which means passing, like I said, where you just put your cards on the table, and then you keep everything you have. But if, like, let's say you bet 1 coin or something, you go into the next round, the other person adds 4 coins to their total because they think they're gonna win or something. You're like, I don't want to keep going, you can fold, but you could lose anything that you already bet. So if you place one coin earlier than you fold, you can't just take it out. It's still there. Call, which means that he puts in exactly enough chips to make his total contribution to the pot precisely, is the same as the other player. So if someone says they put in one coin and you put in one coin, then you both show your hands, and whoever has the highest gets the money. Raise, which means that in addition to enough chips to call, he puts in an added amount and now has more chips than any other player. The excess is the amount by which he raises, and every other player must either put in as many chips as he or must drop and forfeit the pot. For example, if I bet 2 coins, then I bet 2 coins, and then the person next to me says, I put in 2 and I'll raise you 3. That means if I want to stay in and see who will win, I have to also bet 3 coins. If I want to, I can bet 4 coins and raise them 1. For example, a player opens the pot by betting 3 chips. The next player may call by putting in 3 chips. If he puts in 4 chips, he has raised 1 chip. If he puts in 6 chips, he has raised 3 chips, and so on. He may not raise more chips than the limit established for the game. Again, you can establish limit if you want, if you're playing with real money. If not, then I don't really care. That's how I do it. If the second player does raise 3 chips and all the other players drop, the player who opened may stay in by putting 3 more chips in the pot, for then he will have put in precisely as many chips as the second player. Betting of this nature continues until all the bets are equalized. The bets are equalized when the turn comes around to the player who made in his turn made a higher bet than anyone previous to him, when every intervening player has either exactly called that bet or dropped. I'm just trying to figure out what else I should do, because otherwise this tutorial is going to get really long. So here's the book I'm reading. If you guys want to read all of this, here it is. So here it is. This is what I'm reading from. I'm going to go ahead and just skip this page for now, because I don't play with limit, and it may get complicated if you do. So arranging the game, I'm just going to somehow play it. Basically, the way I play this game is I just set up me and my grandma, my friends, whoever, my cousins will set up some chairs around a table, and then the pot will be like just this empty space in the middle of the table. The banker usually has a bunch of the chips, like the plastic coins, and we can deal out starting amounts, or you can start with nothing. I would recommend starting amount. Alright, so now we'll go ahead and actually get into the games of how to actually decide. As you can see, the first one here is called draw poker. So, draw poker, and I'll reenact this right now, so you guys can actually see it. I'll leave this open if it will comply. All right, so in draw poker, you're given 5 cards face on a table. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, so I'm given 5 cards, so I can look at them. So I'll take them up like this. So we didn't call a wild, so this is what I got. So what I can do, let's say I'm shooting for a straight. So if I put this card here, I have 6, 7, 8. So what I'll do is I'll put these 2 cards face down on the table. I'll slide them to the dealer. Then the dealer will go ahead from the deck will give you 2 new cards that you will stick in your hand. And then that you can only do this once. And then betting starts. That's draw poker. So let's say, for example, in this example, I would bet on the highest and best I have is 1 pair, because I have 2 6s. So I would bet on that. I would not place much confidence in that because it's 2 6s, but there you go. So one of the things that I did not mention, or if I did, here it is. Anteing up is where you make the pot bigger, so to speak. Basically what that means is you put in an extra coin to make it bigger. It works well with other games. So let's say I have this with the 2 6s. I bet 1 coin. I can raise it. I can start out with 2. Doesn't matter. Anteing up means you just put in an extra chip before you look at your cards. That has to be called by the dealer before everybody looks at their cards. So that's draw poker. You can play with 7 cards too. It doesn't have to be 5, but you can play with 7. All right, so there's a lot of other ones in here. So I'll describe some of the ones I use. So another one I call, and this one is super simple and fun. It's called Miner's Lantern. Basically, what you do is you get a card from a deck. So let's say I go like this. Here's my card. So what I'll do, in this case, I'm just going to show it to you. I'll put it face up on my head. I can't see the card, so I don't know what it is. And then I will bet what I want to bet. So in this case, I would probably bet, usually Miner's Lantern, everybody just bets 1 coin. The way I play it, we'd all just bet 1 coin because I don't know. This is the worst possible card you can get, but you don't know that. So you just bet based on whatever you think may be the best. You can see other people's cards in Miner's Lantern, but you can't see yours. So for example, if your friend has the 6 and then you have the 2, you look at your friend's 6 and you're like, oh, I may think I have a chance. And you can think whatever you want. And then the friend looks at his 2 and he's like, I think I'm going to win. So then he might either bet 1 or he'll bet something huge because that's the worst card in the whole game. That's Miner's Lantern. So one of the other, these are all simple. You can look up other poker games to play too. Another one of the games too that I like to play with my friends is called No Looking Miner's Lantern. So when I play this with my grandma and my cousins, what you do is the dealer will shuffle the cards. So here's a bunch of cards. You shuffle the cards. Each person is given 1 card. So here's a card for this person. Here's a card for that person. So if I'm this person right here, this is all luck. So if you think you got really good luck, you can bet 1 or 2 coins in the pot. If you don't... All right, so I'm going to go ahead and get back to the Miner's Lantern here in just a second. I realized I should have been using the chips. So this is my canteen carton of chips. This is worth 1. This is worth 5. You can limit them as much as you want. Blue is 10 and yellow is 20. So back to the No Looking Miner's Lantern. So here's person A, here's person B. Let's say person A is feeling a ton of confidence. So they bet 1. Let's say person B is feeling a ton of confidence. So like even more confidence. So they say, I'll see you 1 and I'll raise you 1. So here's the pot. So person A says, all right. So then they put in, I'll call you. So they put in 1. So now it's tied. So the cards are revealed. So you flip them over. So person A completely blew person B out of the water. So here it is. Person A won because they have the higher card. Pretty simple. And then person A gets all the money. So there's person A's collection. Another card game that we like to play is called 5-Card Stud. So basically what this is you're dealing 5 cards. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I'll shuffle. You're dealing 5. You're dealt 5 cards. Oh, sorry guys, my tripod almost fell over there. Or actually it did fall over. So you're dealt 5 cards. So here we go. So you're dealt 5 cards face down. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you look at them. So here's, let's say, again, you wouldn't see this on the table of play, but just for demonstration purposes. So here's person A's hand. Person B gets 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So person B gets 5 cards. 2. So let's say, if it's stud, that means you can't exchange and draw. I showed you guys the draw poker earlier. This is just stud. So what you see is what you get. So you could get bad things or you could get great. Doesn't matter. You can play 7 cards too. This is just 5. So in this case, person A actually got a ton. So what they would do, let's say that means they both ante up. So that means if here's the pot right here. So here's the pot right here. They both ante up. So here's 2 coins right there for our ante up. So let's say that person B is feeling really confident. So person B throws in a nickel. But person A could either be willing to take that risk because that means that person B could be bluffing. They could be lying. So let's say if person A decides to take that risk, they'll bet a 5. If they don't want to do that, what they can do is they can fold. In this case, they'll fold because that's what they want to do. So they fold. So now according to the laws or rules of poker, person B doesn't have to show their cards. If the other person folds, they don't have to show their cards. So they can just keep it secret and never known. So you won't know if they're bluffing or not, but you would have to call them to do that. All right, another game that I like to play is called Spit in the Ocean. Again, there are lots of varieties. You can look them up. I won't go over every single one because it would probably take like forever. I'll just go over the ones that I know very commonly. So Spit in the Ocean. Each player antes. So here we go. So person A and person B, right into the pot. After each player has received 4 face-down cards, so each player gets 4 face-down cards. So here we go. Here's A. A will be, these are just, so here's A right here. And then person B also receives 4 face-down cards. So now, as in draw poker, the dealer places 1 card from the top of the pack. So here's the pack, face up in the center of the table. So we'll put it right next to the pot. What's cool about Spit in the Ocean is this card is automatically added to your hand. So it's like 5-card draw, but not really. This card is automatically added to your hand. So this card is wild. So it means 6s are wild for this game. So if you have a 6, it's wild. So pretty much just, I'll just go over, there's lots of variations according to the book. How I basically play it is you look at your card, you look at your cards, and you can either studs or draw. So in this case, person B got this, and then person A got this. So person A did really not get anything great. The highest they have is 1 pair, and then person B got 3 of a kind. So let's say, so person B decides to bet 2, and then person A bets 2 as well. So this is the pot, so they would reveal their cards because they called. And then person B gets the highest amount, so they get all the coins. So that's one variation of Spit in the Ocean. You can do it as draw, whereas I showed earlier in draw poker, you exchange the cards. So let's say I want to get rid of these 2. You put these 2 back in the deck, and then the dealer, you hand them face down to the dealer will hand you 2 more face down, then you can look at them and add them to your thing. But Spit in the Ocean is cool because then it gives you more of a variation, plus it gives you an automatic wild. Now, I know I'm going kind of fast, but that's how it goes. Anyway, so those are some of the variations of poker. There are lots more variations in this book. You can find them online anywhere. I am not I'm not the best at explaining card games, so I try my best. If you have any questions about this, the rules can be found pretty much anywhere online. You can buy this book. There's lots of other great games in this book too. If you guys want me to do a tutorial on them, let me know, and I will be more than happy to take that offer up. But until then, if you have any questions at all about this or anything, comment section is available. You can comment. Or if you want to, instructions are always available online. And with that pretty much wraps up my poker tutorial. Again, you can use whatever currency you want. You can use chips, you can use quarters, you can use nickels, you can use pennies, you can use dollars. It doesn't matter. Poker is very popular in casinos and stuff. That's where they usually play it, but they use money. Just to make it more fun, I would recommend using chips. It's more fun that way. At any rate, thanks for watching. Please like, subscribe, share. Leave a comment below if you have any questions, and I will get back to you as soon as possible. Thanks for watching, and please check out my other videos on this channel. Have a good day.